Hello everyone, happy Monday. I'm back with another market update. Surprising, but I am here to tell you what is going on in the Phoenix metro housing market between last week and this week. And I have a few changes to report, but overall kind of trending in the same direction, which shouldn't be a surprise for most of you. First of all, our market index, which looks at the supply and demand in the Phoenix housing market, is still at an all-time high. However, it didn't really go up significantly over the last week, which is good to see because it's pretty much just been going up week over week. So it's kind of slowed slightly. It's probably nothing that you or I would even really notice in terms of being a buyer or a real estate agent right now, or a seller. But it did kind of slow, which is a good thing to know that maybe we are going to level off slightly, at least a good thing for buyers. Also, I've been talking about the percentage of listings that close over asking price lately. We are still at 34% of closings closed over the asking price, which is still very high. But keep in mind, the inverse of that is what, 66%? Did not close over asking price, if I did my math right. So, majority of homes are not selling over asking price, but 34% is significant. The median amount over the asking price is about $5,000. So that's something to keep in mind if you are a buyer or if you are a seller, to have an idea of what you might net, if you kind of factor in that additional $5,000 as a possibility for either side. We see that continue. We see prices continuing to rise. The only thing that is maybe, again, good news for buyers is if this market index of, supply and demand kind of slows a little bit and we have a little bit of decreased demand. As a buyer, you might actually be in a situation where you can offer the asking price and not have to go over asking in Q4, maybe. So that's kind of the little glimmer of hope that we have for buyers out there, that maybe it'll come a time where just asking price would be a great offer instead of having to go over. So in addition to that, I wanted to talk a little bit about annual appreciation. So if you are a buyer who's recently bought a home, or maybe you've owned a home for a while, or maybe you're a seller and you're considering selling because the market is so hot right now, for anyone, this is important. Our annual appreciation rate in Phoenix is at 8.9%. That's extraordinary. So kind of the baseline is appreciation moving with the rate of inflation, which is usually about 2 to 3% a year. For Phoenix, we're at 8.9%, pretty crazy. And one of the highest cities within the Phoenix metro area for appreciation is Queen Creek, and that number is 9.7%. So that's almost 10% appreciation per year. So if you just bought in Queen Creek, you should be excited because you will likely have 10% appreciation by next year. And so just something to keep in mind, depending on if you're a buyer or a seller, our appreciation right now is excellent for everywhere in Phoenix. And that's because we've got a lot of demand and these prices continue to go up. So good thing if you are a homeowner right now, and even if you're a buyer, because get in now and you're going to start to see that appreciation over the next year, more than likely. And then also median days on market is another thing I've been talking about lately. Last week, I believe I said 7 days on market. This week, I think it's 8. I mean, really not that much different. That's a median number. Obviously that varies based on zip code, based on price range, but for all of Phoenix, 8 days on market. So, if you're listing your house, be ready for it to sell in that first week. And if you're trying to buy a house, be ready to make an offer the second you see it, because there's no guarantee how long that's going to last. So that's a good kind of measuring stick to know how quickly you need to move on either the buyer or seller side. All of this information is really helpful, but as I say every week, it really depends on your price range, on your zip code, on a lot of different factors. These are all kind of averages for all of Phoenix Metro, and as we know, Phoenix Metro is very large with a lot of other suburban cities. So if you're curious about, the average days on market in your zip code, or maybe, median sale price, or any of these other stats that I've mentioned, specifically the percent of listings selling over the asking price. If you want to know that for your zip code, I can pull that for you guys. So let me know if there's anything that you're interested in, even if it's just for fun to know what's going on in your neighborhood. I'm happy to share that with you. And hopefully this is helpful as always. Sorry the dogs aren't in it today. It's just too hot, so I'm staying in my office. But as always, reach out if you have any questions or if there's anything I can help with. I will be back next week.